Pictures are emerging today from the border where the Biden administration has been sending pallets of baby formula for illegal mothers and their babies, while American mothers and babies cannot find baby formula. And you know what Congress wants to do? They want to send nearly $40 billion to Ukraine, while American mothers can't find baby formula. And while our border is being completely invaded every single day, gas prices out of control. I mean, it's baby formula. Baby formula. People cannot find baby formula with such a shortage. But our Congress is going to send $40 billion to some other country.
Taylor Greene has her finger on the pulse. She's worried about all these parents who are having trouble finding baby formula. If you didn't hear her for the past 40 seconds, baby formula, baby formula, baby formula. While we're worrying about this invasion, not worrying about this invasion at the border and giving all of our baby formula away from humans that don't deserve it because they're lesser. Okay, either way it goes, Marjorie Taylor Greene is working on this. She's been making sure that whatever she can do as an elected official, a congressperson, can make sure this goes through. Well, the House just passed 2 bills on Wednesday to help struggling parents and babies. How did Marjorie Taylor Greene vote on these things? Let's check this out. So the Access to Baby Formula Act passed with overwhelming support in the House. These are good news, Marge.
That's great news.
The bill expands baby formula access to low-income families using the WIC, which is Women, Infants, and Children program, in the event of a supply chain shortage, like the one the US is currently experiencing. This is teed up exactly for it. But 9 far-right Republicans, including Matt Gaetz, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, Paul Gosar, voted against the bill. Matt Gaetz claimed that expanding access to other formulas for poor families would, quote, crowd out many hardworking families. That's more than 70%, by the way, more than 70% of WIC beneficiaries in Oregon are employed, and that's according to the state. Of course they are. Also, they struck down another bill. I mean, they have more opportunities that would help the FDA address this shortage, not just outside of providing with WIC access expansion, but also taking care of it for everyone. They voted against this as well.
Of course.
So the House also voted to pass the Infant Formula Supplemental Appropriations Act. It's a 231 to 192 vote. The bill provides $28 million in emergency funding to the US Food and Drug Administration to address this shortage. The money would also be used to increase staff at the FDA, such as inspectors, who could help the agency accelerate the approval process for formula manufacturers, because that's actually the problem. There's a reason why Republicans didn't want to talk about the actual problem in the shortage when it comes to baby formula, because once we identify the real problem and then vote on or address it in different ways of how to stop it or maybe end the issue, because that's what politicians are supposed to do, represent their constituents. They don't want that information coming up because they will vote against it and they'll look bad. One more, Rick, before you jump in here, because all those who voted no on passing the bill were Republicans, and it included those 9 who voted against the Access to Baby Formula Act. They went against both. One more time, because Lauren Boebert was also another one who's had the drumbeat against this whole thing. She had to explain herself when it comes to these votes as well. Let's listen to her, then we'll let you see what you're thinking, Rick.
Infant Formula Supplemental Appropriations Act. The problem is the bill gives millions to unelected bureaucrats at the FDA and won't solve the problem they couldn't solve before. I joined 191 other House Republicans in voting no. I will gladly work with my colleagues on real solutions that actually address production and supply chain issues, instead of throwing more money at bureaucrats who've already shown they can't get the job done. End the games and feed the babies.
Oh, I'm glad she's ending the games and feeding the babies, because she's not being hypocritical at all. Rick?
If I may, there's a few different points to make. The first is, whenever you're doing a video, don't get the camera like this and be so close up. Like, just do me a favor, okay? Just do me a favor. You are now an elected official. You are a deranged politician. But at least know at this point, with how many media interviews you have done, like, help us out here so we can get your terrible quote blasted out to everybody who has half a brain. So there's a few points. The first is the first video we showed of Marge where she says they're sending baby formula to the illegals. This all follows the playbook that they have put in motion for many years of, by default, no matter what, blame illegals. Even though we're all illegal on stolen land, just blame the illegals. The second part of this is Paul Gosar, who voted against this, who also voted against certifying the election for Joe Biden. By the way, how's Ali Alexander, Paul? So Paul Gosar said this is a waste of money to give $30 million to try and help the baby formula shortage. But then you have someone who has the same R next to their name in Marge saying, well, we're spending all that money with the Ukraine. Why don't we give it to so you already have, like, it's a lose-lose. No matter what, because you have one person saying we're giving too much to Ukraine, we need to give to the baby formula shortage. And then you have someone saying that won't even work if we give $30 million. And then blaming Joe Biden, who, let me be very clear, and we've been very clear on this as a network, I believe, isn't awesome. Not great. However, blaming him for a plant being shut down. I'm sorry, did he inject chemicals into the plant? Is he the reason the plant shut down?
The plant didn't have any, they didn't have any, like to say there's morale, there's worker morale and military morale. And if there's a depressing president in office, then they just don't want to work. And we're supposed to accept that.
I mean, this is the hypocrisy of the pro-life movement though, right, Jayar? Like they say they're so for it. And then it's like, how about we actually help the babies? They're like, no. Not gonna help a baby. Are you kidding?
It's showing exactly their objective. The objective is to complain about it and get to no end. Like many things, they openly look. Their legislative approach is to stop progress or to stop the problems that they're addressing. They scream from the rooftops, "Look what's happening! Look what's happening! Democrats, 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 Democrats." Democrats then fold and go, "Yeah, it is our fault. Let's do something about it." So the first part, maybe you don't want to do that, but the second part, hey, let's do something about it. And they go, "No, we're voting against this." No, because that takes away their ability to complain and then just push it to the next election cycle. That is the entire point. That is the approach to politics for the Republican Party. Complain, then sabotage, and then win elections. Say it's their fault. There's more. I'm sorry. Actually, there was the hypocrisy was full, but I don't think we need to go to those types of things. We know how hypocritical all these folks are, from Marjorie Taylor Greene to Lauren Boebert to Matt Gaetz, as we saw all talking through this. Thomas Massey, all of them. I don't need to see their tweets.